evening, everyone, and welcome to Roy's Tie-Dye Sci-Fi Corner. This is episode number 273. They Live. The classic 1988 sci-fi horror film starring Roddy Piper. With me tonight is my friend, my co-host, and we're back from a long hiatus of almost like 5 to 6 weeks. The one and only, Mr. Ross Amico. Hey, Ross.
I forgot how to do this. We're a little rusty.
I think you just did.
Where's my hoagie?
Where's my wings? I'm hungry.
Hello, everybody. Anybody out there tonight?
Yeah, there's a few people out there.
Yeah. Do they remember who we are?
I don't know. Maybe we have to go back and...
Maybe that's why they're out there.
Maybe that is. Maybe they're reliving this whole experience all over again. Maybe they're trying to find out what Roy's Tie-Dye Sci-Fi Corner is all about.
I hope everybody's wearing their glasses tonight.
Speaking of which, before, first I'm going to do the announcement. So I just want to say hi to the folks that are tuning in that have actually reached out into the comments section. And the first up to bat is Mr. Jeff Rubel. And Jeff is joining us from Utah. Welcome, Jeff. Good to see you out there. And I see Shari is out there. She's downstairs. And she's saying, hey, guys, welcome back. And I see May is out there. May, welcome, May. May is joining us from Canada. And George is joining us. And he said, yes, first time here. Thank you, George. Great to have you out here. And yeah, where are you joining? Where are you tuning in from, George? Just so I could just give you a shout out just to say hi. But we appreciate you being a first time viewer. Kind of feel like the radio. First time viewer, first time listener.
There you go.
Or first time caller, as they used to say on the radio. You talk, when you call in the talk radio. Come on, Ross. I know you did that.
It's when they're it's when they're second time viewers. That's when you know that in Maryland. Okay. Well,
Welcome.
Yeah.
Now, I want to give a special shout out to Randy Lee. Now, Randy said that he was going to be possibly tied up tonight, but Randy actually had sent a box. Interesting enough. Now, we are covering the classic 1988 film They Live, and this box, suspiciously enough, looks kind of like that box that the character of Nada, aka Roddy Piper, actually discovered. So I thought it would be fun to open the box as we were broadcasting. I thought it would be cool. Now, for some reason, if this thing explodes or something, you immediately have to, gang up on Randy Lee, and basically you'll know that he was the one that he actually this is all, a part of all this.
I feel like you're Geraldo Rivera opening Al Capone's vault.
But he said, and I quote, we would need this for the show, or I would need this for the show. I would like to have actually done this with you live, Ross, but maybe it worked out to your advantage. Do you ever see the movie Snakes on a Plane?
I did indeed. I'm sorry to say.
Actually, it was very nice of Randy to send this. Actually, I wait and see what it is before I say that. But I'm smelling something. It's
a box full of stink bugs.
I had a feeling.
Again. Double bubble.
Oh, that's awesome.
It took me a second.
That is so awesome, Randy. And you know what the great quote that comes along with this is? I have come here to chew bubble gum and kick ass. And I'm out of bubble gum, but not now.
Yeah, Rowdy Randy Lee.
Thank you, Randy. That is so awesome. And it's funny. As soon as I opened it, I smelled the bubble gum.
Yeah, it looks like you have a lot of bubble gum before you kick ass, though, I'm afraid. You're going to be chewing that for a couple of weeks.
There we go. That is so awesome.
No ass getting kicked tonight, folks.
Thank you so much, Randy. Thank you. That was great. That was awesome.
Pretty funny. Man, I have glasses somewhere too. I didn't think of it. Oh well, I see nothing. Just like Schultz.
Ross, wait a minute, Ross. What's that written on your mug?
Obey, Roy. Obey. Actually, it's the Princeton squirrel.
I knew it. We're having too much fun, and we're fresh out the gate. That's good. Oh boy. Anyway, Bill's out there. Welcome, Bill. Good to see you out there. Hope Mary's doing well. And
did he catch it or not?
Oh, wait a minute. Randy's saying tuned in from he's at the Brewer game. Awesome, Randy. Thanks again, Randy. That was great. That was awesome.
Should have waited till he tuned in.
He's out there. Don's joining us, and he's joining us from Delaware. Welcome, Don. Good to see you out there. Randy's saying, I heard you were out of bubblegum. Sherry's saying, fantastic. Sunglasses. I don't get the bubblegum. Yeah, and unfortunately, Sherry did not see the movie. So that's, yeah. Yeah, you'll get it. You'll understand how once you see it. So
Well, that's the one line from the movie that everybody knows that hasn't seen the movie, except for Sherry.
Nice.
Well, she hasn't seen it, and she didn't hear it. So
yeah, but oh my God. Oh, Mary's listening. Cool. Hope you're both doing well, Bill. Alrighty. So with that, I think that was a real fun opening. I think we kicked some ass on that.
Well, you still have bubble gum, so.
And I still have bubble gum, so that's good.
Yeah.
But
so when do we start talking?
So we're going to start talking now. Anyway, before we start talking, Ross, how have you been? It's been, we got to catch up with our viewers. It's been like 5 to 6 weeks.
Nobody wants to hear how I've been.
Oh, I want to.
I'm like everybody else out there,
How have you been? How was your summer?
Oh, really? Has it been that long?
Well, it's been
okay. I'm happy summer's over. I'm not a big summer guy.
Yeah.
but then I got to deal with the holidays, so there's like that two month window, like between the end of August and Thanksgiving. That's my sweet spot. And then after that, it's just like, I get sucked into the black hole of the holidays and get spat out on the other side. And then January, I can relax again.
I know. It's like a trifecta because, well, some folks don't consider it, but Halloween in October, which is fun. We're coming into Halloween month. Yeah. It's a fun month.
My favorite month.
Looking forward to it. Yeah. And it's autumn. It's crisp. It will be crisp. It's not crisp right now. Right now it's pretty hot out there. Thanksgiving in November, which will be a lot of eating, a lot of indulging, a lot of food. And then of course, yeah, and then there you go. And then for the folks that we saw, Christmas is coming, and then also the other holidays, in December as well too. So it's just there's a lot coming up. So it's
yeah. Once you're in November, just the year's over. Forget it.
Yeah. It's
goodbye. How was your summer? Say something positive, Roy, so everybody is happy again. And then let's talk about the movie because people are going to turn us off.
No. As everyone can see, Ross is not a pod. He's twitching already. I put him in the hot seat, folks.
Well, I'm only here till 9:00.
A lot can happen in 2 hours. But no, everything's been going pretty well and everything. So, there was a lot of stuff with earlier. And towards the end of August was, with Star Trek Ticonderoga celebrating 10th anniversary. And then of that event up in Ticonderoga, which was really cool. And then obviously the 50th anniversary of Space 1999 was just celebrated in LA. That was a lot of fun. And yeah, it's just, on the wind down now. It's crazy. I mean, this has just been such an impactful year with so many different things. I'm not going to go through all of that again, but the important thing is we're here and we're broadcasting, and we were actually going to do this film about maybe 5 weeks ago. And then what happened was, of course, we had the power outage here. So I kind of threw things off.
That long ago? More than 5 weeks ago, was it?
Maybe it was about 3 weeks ago. I think maybe, I don't know. No, you know what it is? We were back 5 weeks ago. Then we were going to do this movie in 4 weeks. And then what happened was the power was out. And then I made the decision to push it out. And we were going to do it. We're thinking of doing it in October, like October 3rd, because next week will be the beginning of our Halloween month of Halloween films. But then what happened was we were able to connect for tonight. So we brought it in a notch. And then that leaves the door open for some other cool movies. So there we go.
There we go.
Yeah.
Sorry I asked.
Now I got to ask you, Ross, as I always like to ask you, do you recall seeing this movie back in the day?
I never saw the movie. I remember when it was out and reading the reviews for it, and I just never went to see it. Mixed reviews was kind of kind. I think it didn't get great reviews, although going back and looking at the reviews it got on the internet, they weren't terrible. I mean, some of them were kind, but I don't know why I didn't get to see it. It was in 88.
It was 88, yeah.
It just, at that point, I just wasn't. I went to see a lot of movies. I just didn't see any John Carpenter movies, I don't think, at that point.
Yeah, it's crazy. How the heck is this movie 37 years old? Wow.
Yeah.
That's insane.
And how about you? Have you seen it before?
I did. I saw this movie in the theater when it was out. Oh. Now, I don't recall if I saw it opening night. I don't think I did. I'm pretty sure I did not. So and this movie came out, it was originally slated to come out latter part of October. But what they decided to do was they pushed it off into November because the movie would have coincided, ironically enough, with Halloween 4. And John Carpenter had been involved with, the first 3 Halloween movies. He directed the first one. And the decision was made to push it off. And then it didn't come out until around Election Day, I think, which is kind of...
Yeah, they were trying to... They said, it'll work out because they'll be near Election Day.
Yeah.
With the social commentary and the political commentary. Yeah.
Right.
Which is not really that profound, but but whatever.
Yeah.
It's funny how we look at John Carpenter now, because he was always the guy who, did Halloween. That was his big hit. And then after that, he got slammed, it seemed, for everything. And he was this kind of this B-movie director. And now there's this great reevaluation of his work that's been going on for some time now. And all of these John Carpenter classics are starting to pop up out of his oeuvre that weren't appreciated when they were out. The Thing is really skyrocketed in people's estimation. And we talked about it. And in its way, it's as good as the one from 1950. Totally different movie, but it's a really good movie. And
what the irony about that is that back when The Thing was made, that came out or released, it was in 82.
Yeah.
And it was only a 30-year difference with the 1950 version. And whereas now the 1982 version is over 40 years ago for us.
I know. It's crazy. Considering that, that's as far away from The Thing just about as I guess we are further away from The Thing now. Because what is that, 82? We're in 80. So that was 43 years ago?
43 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're further away from the Thing remake than the Thing remake was from the original Thing.
Exactly. You got a thing about that, huh?
Yeah. Crazy.
It is crazy. Hey, I just want to say quickly hi to Pete Fultz. He's out there and he's saying all hail and well met. Everybody's
back.
And he said, I have come to chew bubblegum and kick ass, and I'm all out of bubblegum. Yeah. Roddy Piper, he was awesome. He really was.
Now Sherry knows.
That's okay. Spoiler alert.
No,
Did you ever meet him, Ross?
What?
Did you ever meet him?
Rowdy Randy Piper? Yeah, he's here all the time. No, I never met him. How in the world would I ever meet him? Yeah, I was hanging out at WrestleMania 3, and we had a few chats.
He actually was at Chiller. That's
all right. Yeah, I've still have never been to Chiller. I'm sorry. I have to understand my audience here. Know my audience. So you did meet him?
I did meet him. I actually didn't talk to him. It was funny. Deb Jacoby was kind of smitten and wanted to meet with him, and I think she got his autograph. He was really very nice guy.
You should have given him the bubble gum.
I should have. It was a missed opportunity.
He probably gets that all the time, or got that all the time.
Yeah. Sadly, he passed away at a very young age of 61.
Yeah.
But and it was about literally 10 years ago. So sadly, he's no longer with us. But I remember him back in the day with if you were into WrestleMania, for the folks out there that were into that, I mean, Piper's Corner, and he was very entertaining, very, very entertaining.
Yeah. My mom used to sit and laugh at the wrestling, but I had a very low tolerance for it. I felt kind of like when I was watching Space 1999. I had to get out of the room.
Oh. Ooh, Spock. I can always count on Ross.
But I saw enough of it.
Bill is saying, I work in the building that has the WWF offices.
Wow.
Oh, very cool. That's kind of cool, Bill. And Pete is saying, what? It is cool. I mean,
I'm laughing at Pete's remark.
Oh, and Ross sitting next to Roddy Piper during the celebration. That was you, Ross? Wait a minute.
They kicked him out for not wearing a shirt. Yeah.
Maybe that was you.
Yeah, so you did meet him then, or got his autograph, or just?
I didn't get his autograph. No,
you didn't.
But I did meet him though, and if Vince was out there, he would actually probably remember that. But yeah.
All right. Yeah. Now this was. Yeah, exactly. When Carpenter did this, there are two stories. One is that he had, his regular star, his frequent star. Kurt Russell in mind for the lead. The other story that he told both stories. The other story was that he did, he worked with Kurt Russell so often that he wanted to do it with somebody else. But Kurt Russell at the time was involved with shooting. What was it? It was Tequila. What's the movie that with Mel Gibson and?
Tequila Sunrise?
Tequila Sunrise. Yeah. So he made the right decision there because he got to work with some A-list actors. I never saw the movie, but it's good for him to do something else. But John Carpenter he had the John Carpenter mullet. Yeah. if you can't get Kurt Russell to wear the mullet, then you got to get the Roddy Piper in there. To be his stand-in. And this movie kind of reminded me a little bit. It had elements of, Big Trouble in Little China and a little bit of that Escape from New York feel. But for my money, I think Escape from New York was a better movie, more satisfying movie. In my opinion, it did have political commentary. Mm-hmm. But this to me was middling Carpenter. Some people can love it, some people can hate it. I was kind of in the middle with it. Mm-hmm. It was enjoyable, but I was thinking, like, why didn't it land with me? I think I would have liked it a lot better had I seen it in the movies, like at that stage of my life. Now I'm just kind of a different person, maybe. I was thinking about this too. Like, why do movies change over time? Why do we see movies and we don't like them when we're younger, and we see them later and they become classics? Or why did we like them so much when we were younger and we go back and it doesn't really affect us anymore? And some of it's just our personal development, but some of it's history. some of its social changes. Like this movie is as relevant as it ever was, maybe even more so.
Right.
But again, I don't think it's really that profound a message. That I think anybody who has an intellect, who has ever thought, been aware of anything, understands about, that we're constantly being sold this message that we're supposed to consume and obey. I mean, that's not a radical, like mind-blowing concept or anything. It was well executed in the movie, but it wasn't like, oh my God, that was so shocking. And I don't even think John Carpenter really even cared. He just needed. I understand that he was kind of PO'd at the time about the political situation. He didn't like Reaganomics, so he was inspired to do this. But it's not like he dwelt on the political message at all. It's basically an action movie.
Right.
It's an exploitation movie, is what it was, with two brawny guys and some guns and some fist fights, some good pulp action. So, but that's John Carpenter for you. I mean, and you should do it that way. You shouldn't ladle. You shouldn't have the message be, the nobody wants to be led by the nose. They want to go and have a good time and maybe have a little message ladled on in the background somewhere.
Well, to your point too, Ross. I mean, the film. I mean, it did have its reason. John Carpenter has reasons for the message that he was putting out there, but it was different in where it wasn't like a full action adventure. I mean, it was kind of subtle. It was kind of low key, especially in the beginning, and then there was little like trinkets of different things that you would see along the way that, like, I would say almost like Easter eggs that they were putting out there. I guess there was something even with there was a showing of Abraham Lincoln at some point that you see him and with the sunglasses on.
Yeah, it was the television display in the store window, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So there's that, and I think they showed Mount Rushmore, and it deals with like the subliminals of that was huge, like in the 70s. I mean, there was even a Columbo, for the folks out there that love Columbo. There was a Columbo episode that was dedicated to subliminals. So it was kind of tapping into that, and then it was also turning up the volume a little bit, with the aliens. And then they also were referencing this movie was based on that short story. It was
right, 8:00 in the morning.
Yeah, that was,
by Ray Nelson.
Yeah, it came out in like 1963, and it was about reptilians that were controlling, the Earth. And I was cracking when I read that it was reptilians, because I was thinking immediately, in Star Trek right now, everything, if you're a Strange New Worlds follower, the Gorn. And I'm just thinking, you know what I mean? And when I was out in California just a couple of weeks ago, one of the side trips I did was to Vasquez Rocks, again, the Gorn. So it's just, the idea of reptiles,
One of the critics wrote about this movie. This is just an excerpt from the review. He says, the whole thing is so preposterous, it makes V look like Masterpiece Theater.
Now, mind you, I used to enjoy V. I mean, obviously,
I haven't seen it, but yeah,
that was like 1983 that came out.
Yeah. We talked about doing it.
Yeah, this is just like a fun movie. I mean, and it's like, it is a kick. We already said it, kick-ass type of film, right? And it's Roddy Piper, who was known for his wrestling days, and then of course I love the fight scene that's in this movie. Not to give any spoilers away, but that fight scene that was only supposed to be 20 seconds long was like 5 minutes and 20 seconds, and it was hysterical. It was great.
And a long 5 minutes and 20 seconds. Yeah, but before I saw the movie, I knew the line about the bubble gum. And I saw the fight scene on YouTube and watched it multiple times because it's hilarious.
It's awesome.
So I was actually expecting a little more from the movie. So when I actually saw the movie, I mean, there were still some funny things in it, like the totally out of nowhere Roddy Piper getting thrown through the sliding glass doors and falling 50 feet.
Meg Foster, man.
Yeah, in what world? In what world could somebody just grab somebody by the hair and throw them through sliding glass doors like that?
Well, if you go back and watch, she hits him with the glass over his head, and then she pushes him through, and he goes flying through. It's like he drops like almost like 100 feet, and then he still gets up and walks away from it.
Extremely unlikely that anybody would go through the sliding glass doors like that, especially Meg Foster, cracking him with a glass or whatever. I don't know. It was funny, but So as far as the story, that 8 o'clock in the morning, Ray Nelson was a science fiction, I guess, cartoonist or illustrator and a science fiction writer, and he was friends with Philip K. Dick. Apparently, he's the one that introduced Philip K. Dick to LSD. So,
I saw that.
Yeah, but anyway, he adapted his story, which is supposedly like a DOA story. I don't know if you ever saw DOA. It's an old film noir with Edmund O'Brien. And what it is he at the beginning of the movie, somebody poisons him. So he knows it's a fatal thing. He's racing against time, and he's got to find the killer. He finds his own killer is what the movie's about. So, and they remade it a couple of times, but so 8 o'clock in the morning was like that. He had it at 8 o'clock in the morning to solve this dilemma with the aliens taking over the planet. So I've not read the story. I had it in mind to go back and look at it, but I didn't. But the writer went and collaborated with a comic book artist, Bill Ray, and they adapted it into a comic book as late as 1986, I guess. So it was only a few years before John Carpenter made this movie. I guess that caught his eye, so he based it on the story in the comic book, but wrote it under a pseudonym as a screenwriter. And what was the name he used? It was Armitage. Frank Armitage was the name he used as a screenwriter. Apparently, Armitage he took from the Dunwich Horror, which was an H.P. Lovecraft story. He's one of the characters in there, but the character's name is Henry Armitage. So I don't know why he did Frank Armitage. I looked up Frank Armitage, and he was a background animator for a lot of the Disney classics. So I don't think that's what he meant. Wasn't Frank Armitage the name? Sorry?
I was going to say, was he trying to give homage to him?
Yeah, right. So wasn't Frank Armitage the name of the sidekick in the movie? Wasn't it Frank?
What was
it not who's not his sidekick there? It was played by
Keith David.
You remember his character's name?
I don't. In fact, it was. Oh, wait a minute. It was Frank Armitage. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't understand because I thought he got a screen credit too. So I don't know.
Yeah, Keith David was Frank Armitage. That was him. But what was interesting is Roddy Piper never was addressed with a name on camera, though.
Right. And I thought it was interesting that they used nada. I mean, it came from the story because nada in Spanish is nothing. And in Latin, it's like something insignificant, which is interesting because in Jules Verne's 20,000 Leagues, Captain Nemo is Latin for nobody. So he's kind of an everyman, I guess. He's insignificant, and yet he manages to take the whole system down.
Yeah, exactly. He makes his he forges his place in history, so to speak.
Yeah. Oh, so his claim to fame, though, Ray Nelson, other than the story, and only after they made the movie out of it, They Live, is that he invented the propeller beanie. You know, that classic, the beanie with the propeller on it?
Yeah.
He came up with that in high school, I guess, as a kind of a symbol of the sci-fi fan. And he did that in 10th grade, and he says, "Oh, I'm going to be remembered, as the guy who invented this the propeller beanie," which I thought was hilarious when I found that out, because since he was friends with Philip K. Dick, I have a paperback, I don't know where it is, of a book that Philip K. Dick wrote called Confessions of a Crap Artist, and on the cover, the protagonist is wearing the helicopter beanie.
Oh, interesting.
So I wonder if whoever illustrated it knew the connection through Nelson.
Bill said Beanie and Cecil.
Right.
And then you also said, I met the author of the book and the term subliminal seduction, Wilson Bryan Key, when he gave a lecture at my college. That's kind of cool.
Yeah. Remember that was very big with the where you found out that they airbrushed things into the ice cubes in the ads. You know, they had skulls
Oh yeah,
and naked people and all kinds of stuff.
that's what I'm saying. Back in the 70s, I mean, they touched upon it in the 80s, but I mean, again, I'm referencing that Columbo episode, and incidentally, that was an episode with Robert Culp being the killer.
Mm.
He did, I think, 3 episodes of the original Columbo, where he was like the villain or the antagonist. But anyway, subliminal cuts. Yeah,
Yeah,
they don't really talk about that as much as they used to. But wasn't that regulated though, Ross, too?
yeah, it was regulated, but I don't know how they keep from. It's like what was it, the Exorcist, where people ran screaming from the theater because they freaking cut in that shot of Pazuzu for a split second.
And that's what we're talking about. I mean, in this, the government is actually, regulating. They're actually controlling. The aliens have essentially penetrated our society. They've assumed high level of positions, and they're essentially putting themselves into a situation where they're growing and they're trying to manipulate things in their favor. I mean, there's even talk of climate change in this movie, where that at the time it really wasn't something that was mentioned, and essentially it was going to affect the aliens. And then also the aliens with themselves are pretty much decomposing, and that was a reflection on almost like humanity, so to speak, as far as what was potentially happening.
Yeah, the decadent capitalism or what have you. Yeah, because all the signs are what they're like: consume, obey, reproduce, and they want more people so that we buy more things, and we're like sheep.
Yeah,
and it's like I said, it's like from the time. I think anybody with an intellect, it doesn't take long to realize if you watch enough television, what's going on. I remember I used to get my mom really upset. I'd come home from high school and just bitch about TV. And don't you see what they're doing on these commercials? I said, look at it, it's all sex and all, they're trying to sell you. And she'd get all upset with me because I would be like all like bitter already. I was like, 15.
You're too young to be bitter, Ross. You got your whole life for that.
Yeah. I was already like through with the world at that point, through with society anyway. But and it's funny because I this week the past couple of weeks I've been going back and watching some of these old Jack Benny shows because I do stuff like that, and it's so transparent even in the 50s. I mean, it's even more so in the 50s because they're selling Lucky Strikes. And it's this constant. Even in the show, the sketches make everybody smoking Luckies, so they're talking about the Luckies.
And they'll actually take a break, and it's not even a commercial. They'll break within the show, and the break is a part of the show where they're advertising for the cigarettes. To your point,
right. And and beyond that, I mean that I've seen before, but they actually work them into the sketches and talk about the Luckies in the sketches. And the guest stars come on and they talk about Luckies, and it's really crazy.
Yeah, it really is.
But anyway, so stay asleep, keep working, consume. yes, Marshall McLuhan. Yeah, the medium is the message. Yeah.
But it was definitely a different direction when you were referencing the thing. The thing was so much more of a action type of sci-fi horror film, whereas this was more laid back, but still definitely delivered a punch, or at least at least Roddy Piper did, and David David did too.
I kind of like the B movie stuff he kind of ladled on there with the at one point we actually see a flying saucer.
Yes.
And of course everybody it's like a Body Snatchers, Invasion of the Body Snatchers kind of thing, where when you got the glasses on, you can see who the aliens are. The ones that are the corporate elite that are controlling everyone. What did make sense to me though is like why there would be so much time spent on Nada just like kind of running around once he gets the glasses and just like shooting every one of them that he sees, because obviously this problem is too big to be solved by running around with a gun. You know, he had to, you have to do what he eventually did at the end of the movie to have any kind of impact.
Sure.
So, I mean, I had a severe rat problem in Philly. And I started killing him, and I just saw that there was no end. I realized very quickly that I never wanted to go through anything like that again in my life.
Rats.
It's like once you get to like 20, it's like, just don't even, there's just so much unnecessary killing. It's just like, it's not doing anything.
Were they big, Ross?
It was kind of gruesome. I had them all lined up out in the courtyard outside my apartment. It looked like, I don't know, looked like a nightmare, Roy. But now I don't kill anything anymore. I don't even kill mosquitoes.
No, I know you don't. Wasn't that the topic of discussion with Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade? Rats.
Exactly.
With Henry Jones.
Yeah. And I don't do it on purpose. I was still killing mosquitoes a few years ago, but this year I just couldn't do it. I put them in my cup and throw them outside. Yeah, the pie down the cup.
The pie down.
Yeah, that's what I should have done. I should have just played my pipe and led them off.
Reminds me of a Batman episode. The Pied Piper.
Right.
Anyway. So now, what did you think of? We've been talking about Roddy Piper. What did you think of Keith David, his character?
Oh, well, I mean, he was effective. I mean, he was in The Thing. So he's a returning.
That was actually his last working relationship with John Carpenter, wasn't it? The Thing too. I think that was the second.
Yeah. He did The Thing and he did this one, but he's had a pretty good career. I mean, he's been in. I saw his credits, like 400 film, television, and stage credits, and big. And they're not all like B movies. I mean, it's been in a lot of big movies.
I didn't even realize that he was in Platoon.
Platoon, and recently he was in American Fiction with Jeffrey Wright. So he's had quite a career. So it's funny, there wasn't a lot of character development in this. You kind of get the idea that Nada. And we're using that name, even though it never gets used in the movie.
Yeah.
The Roddy Piper character, he's kind of like a drifter, and he has to find work, and they wind up living in kind of the shanty town. And supposedly in real life, Roddy Piper claimed he had a period in his life when he was homeless, and so he understood what these people were going through.
Right. In fact, speaking of that, John Carpenter employed the homeless too in this movie. So he actually gave him the opportunity to work and actually get, money, and he tapped into that, which was really good. But to your point, it really affected Roddy Piper, because I guess it was almost like having, PTSD. You're having backflashes of that period of your time and of your life, going through that. So when they were demolishing the one scene where, the police are coming in and they're pretty much attacking the homeless, it really affected him.
Yeah, and that kind of things happen in real life forever. I mean, that going back to the Hoover towns and stuff, and I'm sure even before that, where the police would come in and bust up these homeless camps. Yeah. Excuse me. But beyond the setup with that, though, once he starts shooting, there's no real character development. You know what I mean? It's just like he's the hero, so you're kind of like with him, but there's the hero, the sidekick, and there's Meg Foster, who you really don't get a beat on. In fact, there's kind of a revelation later in the movie. It's like, well, where did that?
Well, you're trying to read her, because you don't know where she's coming from. I mean, obviously he kidnaps her.
Well, she has those eyes too. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and she's always been. I mean, very. I don't want to say she's freaky, but there's something very. What's the word? Just very
like
piercing.
Yeah, piercing. And it's like she's got like a wolf's eyes or something.
Yeah, I mean,
they're very lucid blue eyes.
Yeah, and all the roles that she does, it just really draws you in.
Gray. They're so so opaque, or so lucid, so yeah. I don't know. I
And
was going to say opaque, but
so you don't really know if, yeah, on her eyes, exactly. You don't know what to make of her because you're kind of like, okay, he's, he is the hero, and you know what he's trying to do, and he's, for the most part, probably not going to hurt her, but then she does what she does, and then you're thinking, okay, she's defending herself, but she's very subdued, even when she's communicating and letting, folks know that she's okay. So,
well, and they set it up such that there's another police raid later in the movie when the underground, the rebels, whatever they are all getting shot at, and so you feel she's in peril. So there's this sympathy that that Carpenter tries to instill, like, she's in peril. So I guess that counts as the character development or something like that, because later on, it's like he tries to pull the rug out from you later in the movie. But I'm sorry, I'm so scratchy here.
no.
But what I was going to say is, I think the movie would have been more effective because I think that either the script or the direction doesn't go far enough to get you close to the characters. It would have been more effective, actually, I think, if they had gotten Kurt Russell and maybe Adrienne Barbeau or somebody who had worked with Carpenter before, where we would have come in there with that baggage and those expectations, and they wouldn't have had to work so hard to establish who they were, because we would go in and say, oh, that's the Kurt Russell character and that's the Adrienne Barbeau character, and we would find it more involving and less like, well, where did that come from? Because I think that the movie doesn't go far enough to really establish who the characters are.
No, that's a really good point, because you could almost tap into them more, so you might feel closer to them just because of who they are in real life. And then even though you're not connecting with their characters per se, because that development is not meant to be there, because it's meant to be on the surface, because that's the way the movie's working. But you may have almost like cared about them more. But I did like his performance, though. I thought he really did handle it well.
Roddy?
Yeah.
For the most part, there were one or two points where I could see he was acting.
Right.
But I was in his corner. I wanted to see him do well. Yeah.
You were mentioning some of the names, but here are some considerations, though, that they had for Nada, Roddy Piper: Alec Baldwin, Michael Biehn, Jeff Bridges, Bruce Campbell, Tom Cruise, Harrison Ford, Mel Gibson, Tommy Lee Jones, Michael Keaton, Christopher Lambert, Dolph Lundgren, Bill Paxton. I mean, these are all the heavy hitters that, at the time.
So I guess basically they couldn't afford anyone but Christopher Lambert and Dolph Lundgren, and they were busy. So
Patrick
they went with
Swayze.
Roddy Piper. What's that?
Yeah, Patrick Swayze, which I could kind of similar types.
What's that?
Kind of similar type with.
I was going to say he could have done it. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Bruce Willis.
Yeah.
Bruce, this was 1988, so Bruce Willis would have literally he would have just done Die Hard.
Yeah, so, the budget would have doubled if they had gotten any of those, like Harrison Ford or Bruce Willis or I don't know, a bunch of the guys you mentioned.
Yeah,
they were too big. But yeah, I did read Patrick Swayze. I thought that he would have been an okay choice for it.
Yeah,
but you wouldn't have gotten that great fight, though.
No.
And you know what? John Carpenter is a great fan of Howard Hawks too. He likes old movies.
Yeah.
Howard Hawks directed or he produced the original thing. Yep. But it's kind of like Steven Spielberg producing Poltergeist. It's like wink.
Yeah.
It's like he was there on the set. So I think a lot of there's a rumor that Spielberg did more than just produce portions of Poltergeist, and the same thing with Howard Hawks with The Thing. But anyway, Howard Hawks directed a lot of different kinds of movies, but his main claim to fame is these manly movies where you have all these tough guys hanging out at an outpost where they're all pilots or they're cowboys, and he did Rio Bravo and these movies with John Wayne and Dean Martin and Walter Brennan, and so yeah, basically they would hang out and they would there was like this man code. They'd be tough, and they crack jokes, and yet there's some kind of intimacy that this bond that forms between them. It's an unspoken kind of brotherhood of the prairie kind of thing, or the brotherhood of the skies when they're pilots. And they're like man's men. They're tough guys, and I think that's what he was like kind of trying for with this, with Roddy Piper and his buddy here, Frank. And also John Ford directed the Quiet Man.
Yes,
with John Wayne and Victor McLaughlin, and that fight scene. Carpenter mentioned he wanted to kind of make it like the Quiet Man scene. And it's funny he said that, because before I had read that, there's the one part of the fight where one of them tries to help the other guy up. I don't remember if it's Roddy that tries to help Frank up or the other way around. But as he does it, the other guy like lets go with the punch. And that's precisely what happens in the one part of the Quiet Man when there's a pause in the fight and he goes to pick him up, and Victor McLaughlin leans right in and lays one on John Wayne. Another one of the great fight scenes in movies. And he wanted it to be funny like that, like it was in the Quiet Man.
Well, yeah, because at the one point in this film, I think they both have like these these like rods, and they're like trying to basically club each other, and I think he crashes through the window, and then he laughs
and he apologizes, and
then he clocks him.
There's that. Then there's like the multiple blows to the groin, and
supposedly the groin shots and the face shots, that's the only thing that wasn't real. Everything else was. Everything else, these guys choreographed this for almost like a month. I mean, they worked really hard on this, and of course, Roddy Piper, he was a professional wrestler. So, really great athlete.
It is a very funny scene. Like I said, the first time I came across it was on YouTube, and I had to watch it immediately, like 3 times.
So, Bill's asking, he said, if it was remade today, who do you think should play the lead? My problem with that question is, the people I would be thinking of are all would be in their 80s now. Uh-oh, you froze, Ross.
Are we back? Well, you did too. Everybody disappeared. Was I here the whole time? Yeah, he's trying to do it to me. Remember I did that to you once?
But no.
I didn't know. I took off all my clothes. I didn't know that you're coming back. That's the first thing I do as soon as the show's done is take everything off.
There's Roddy's response to that, Ross. Oh, shoot. No, what I was starting to say in answering Bill's question is, that's a great question, but my problem is I'm thinking of actors that would probably be like 80 today. I honestly, when it comes to present day actors, I am like the wrong person to ask a question like that, because I don't even know who's, I don't know.
Oh, what was the question? I must have been gone already.
Oh, maybe you were frozen.
Like the thing.
Yeah. If it was remade today, who do you think should play the lead?
Well, the Rock.
The Rock. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. There you go. Yeah. Yes. Exactly.
Yeah. I really don't know. I don't care too much for movies. They don't make good movies like. I mean, not that this was a great movie, but they don't make good, solid, throwaway B movies anymore.
Speaking of The Rock, and I do agree with you on that. I mean, I prefer the stuff from years ago, but Roddy Piper doing this really opened the doors, because this was really one of the first times, if not the first time, where a wrestler was acting. And after that, other wrestlers came to, go and act. I mean, look at, what was it, Princess Bride, Andre the Giant. There's an example.
What year was that? That was around this time.
I think it was, may have even been before this. I'm going to say, I thought it was 87, but 88, 89, somewhere in that.
And you had Rocky 3 with, granted, Hulk Hogan was just doing what he does.
Right.
He didn't really have any acting to do outside the ring. And Mr. T.
Yeah, Rocky 3 was 82.
Yeah.
But I mean, Roddy Piper. I mean, this movie hit #1, and then interestingly enough, it kind of like disappeared.
Yeah.
But it was #1 for like a weekend. Um, Jeff said Harrison Ford. Why not? He's still an action hero at 80 plus,
Yeah,
right?
there you go. It's got to be better than the last Indiana Jones movie.
I knew you were going to say that. Oh, that was so painful. Oh,
Oh, come on, you liked it.
no, I didn't.
Oh,
I didn't dislike it. I didn't dislike it as much as you did, but I didn't.
Yeah, nobody disliked it as much as I did.
I was not a big fan of that.
It's not possible.
No, I was not a fan of that movie. That movie, I was depressed watching that movie. I was depressed leaving the theater.
You're taking all my comments. You're taking all my this was my review of the movie, and now you hold the same views. Obey, Roy. Conform.
I said it back then. We'll pull the tape. We'll pull the tape, Ross. We got it.
I haven't been around for 5 weeks. I don't know what we said before that.
You know what? They're trying to pull the tapes on us, but we got them, Ross. You see, it is a plot.
Oh man, yeah. The movie also got me thinking about some of the egregious fight scenes in other movies. Like you remember the fight scene in The Deep with it was who was it? It was Nick Nolte, right? Nick Nolte fighting Robert Tessier in The Deep. You know where they get the outboard motor and they're like trying to cut each other with the motor and what was the other one that really? There's one from 1970 with Robert Taylor.
Oh,
Rod Taylor, not Robert Taylor. Rod Taylor.
Yeah,
it's one of the Travis McGee movies, and he starts fighting this guy on the boat. Wonder if anybody even knows what this movie was. I wrote it down. Darker Than Amber from 1970.
Wow.
You got to look for it on YouTube. It's Rod Taylor, Darker Than Amber fight scene, and they just go for it. And apparently, it got out of control. It was like they really got angry at each other, and supposedly Rod Taylor broke like 3 ribs, and he busted the other guy's nose, and they just filmed the whole thing. It's all in the movie. But it's like the fight in this movie, only real. It's another one you have to watch it 3 times in a row.
Don's saying that's a great one.
Okay.
Or I was just going to say, or Captain Kirk getting into a fight in a Star Trek episode. Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah. Well, he would get the 3-corner tear on the uniform.
Always. The uniform would be fine, and then at the last moment, it's like...
Yeah.
Well, Hollywood is so creative now. They are at least considering remaking it.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. They've been talking about remaking it. Yeah.
I think it was on the table 2 years ago. They were talking about it.
Yeah. Yep. Well.
Oh, John's out there. Hey, John. Thanks for joining.
Hey.
Good to see you out there. We're talking about They Live, John. They Live.
Yeah. So the fight scenes. Oh, the other thing about the exploitation filmmaking. I don't know. Did you ever see John Carpenter's Assault on Precinct 13?
Yes.
Like one of his early films, which was totally exploitation. Oh, there you go. Right. Yeah. So you get kind of this science fiction horror comedy element going through the thing too. Yeah, no independent thought. Yeah. Meg Foster. Yeah. I really think she needed more character development. They needed to do more with her. She was born in Reading. Did you know that? Reading, PA?
I did not know it until I was reading about her. I thought that was very interesting.
Yeah.
Did you know that she was in Cagney and Lacey? I didn't even realize that either.
I didn't know it either until, that you mentioned it. I had read that within the last week or so. She was in the earlier episodes, I guess.
Yeah, the first season. And she's 77 now. I didn't even realize. And she attended the Neighborhood Playhouse, too, in New York. But she's done a lot of stuff. I remember seeing her. There was a... what was it? I mean, she did a lot of episodic television back in the day, like The $6 Million Man. What was it? Barnaby Jones. Miami Vice, 70s and 80s and all that stuff. But there was a 90s television film. I don't know if folks out there remember it. It was, how they were doing the Invasion of the Body Snatcher movies. And with the remakes, they made, this was after this. I think this would have been like the third one, because there was the first one, obviously, from the 50s. Then there was the second one with Donald Sutherland and Leonard Nimoy and Brooke Adams, and Jeff Goldblum and Veronica Cartwright in 78. Then there was one, I think it was in 94. It was on television, and she was in that.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, we talked about the Jeff Goldblum, Veronica Cartwright, Donald Sutherland. Yeah.
Did that a while ago.
It was a good one. So it was an actual straight remake of Body Snatchers that she did. That she was in. It
was, and I'll never forget. It was like this. There's this really annoying kid, and he comes running in because he's like, and she's his mother, and he's like really concerned about her, and she's in bed sleeping, and then he comes running up to her, and he's like, mom, and then what happens is she decomposes right in front of him. and then the next thing you know, this pot erupts in like out of the closet, and then he starts screaming. It always stuck with me. And it was probably like about 30 some years ago, but she was really freaky in that.
Was it made for TV though, or was it a theatrical movie?
I think it was made for TV.
Really? Okay, I'll look into that.
Yeah, if anybody remembers that out there, just curious.
Yeah, I know that there were a couple more remakes after the 78 one, but I haven't seen any of them.
Yeah, and then they did another one too after that. And that one was with Daniel Craig, and also I believe he had already started doing Bond. It was like right after Bond. And oh my goodness, what's her name from Australia? She's our age. Yes, Nicole Kidman.
Yeah, I did remember. Yeah. I don't know.
Bill, yeah, exactly. That's
Well, when they got it right twice, they should have just stopped.
Yeah, exactly.
I haven't seen any of these other ones though. Maybe they're great.
Hey, Dennis is out there. Dennis Chevalier joining us from Canada. Welcome, Dennis. And John is commenting, saying, oops, let me just bring it up here. He said, many can do without any more Hollywood remakes at this time. Most of the modern classics are better off left alone. The original They Live was more about subversion and communism than aliens. Yeah.
Consumerism. Yeah.
Consumerism, yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know about communism since it's so much about since it's so much about the kind of the corporate overlords and the work. Well, I guess I mean any society with an overlord, a ruling class, or like an authoritarian group, I guess because how it is. You go too far to the left, you wind up on the right. You go too far to the right, you wind up on the left. It's the extreme.
It's like I always say, Ross, it's all about the balance.
It's all about the balance.
There is none.
So it's funny because Carpenter was all PO'd at Reaganomics and everything. And then somebody brought it up later when he had made all this money off all the movies. And he said, I admit it, I'm a capitalist. He said, right. I'm not going to deny I'm a capitalist. But he says the subversive though is anti-yuppie.
Absolutely, George. Yeah, definitely.
I mean, it was the 80s, right? Exactly. The era of the yuppie.
Somebody's out there, I don't know who it is, saying, I feel They Live is far too controversial to even discuss in the open. Well, fair enough. I mean, it's definitely,
Well, that's why you got to wear the glasses.
Well, there you go. This is true.
But you can't really, I think you can abstractly talk about things without like taking a political stand on stuff.
Yeah, because we don't talk politics on the show. We don't get political. We're just commenting on what the film is about. We're not going, we're not influencing or saying anything. It's just basically it's recorded history of what the movie was, the broadcast, and just discussing it in open forum.
But there was also I'm sure you caught the jab at the critics at the end. When they had that was a little like Gremlins-esque or whatever when they went through at the end. Once everybody could see that everybody was actually one of these aliens.
Well, they were in color, and that was a nice
Yeah.
and again that was a nice touch. I mean, with the aliens, I'm going back a little bit here. They're all when he is able to see them for what they are.
Right.
They're in black and white, and meaning only he could see them that way. It was isolated.
Right. Well, they gave him the contact lenses too. So they didn't have to keep doing that. So I wonder if they got tired of setting up the shots. It's like, oh man, I don't want to do another one of these black and white shots. Just give them contacts so they just see that they're really aliens all the time. Stay asleep. Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, in some respects, the movie was very, like 1970, and its loathing of this whole consumerism and the corporations and that sort of thing. I could see Lenny Bruce or George Carlin doing a thing on it. Very counterculture.
Well, and to your point, I mean, the film was shot in the latter part. I believe it was shot in the latter part of 87,
right.
88. So it
was a little belated.
Only 8 years prior to that. So it wasn't that far off.
Well, it was, I'm talking about 1970, not 80. It's a very like kind of, although like somebody else mentioned, that whole thing with the subliminal messaging and stuff was very big in the 70s.
Yeah.
The people's concerns with that and journalists writing a lot about it. But, in the 60s was the big, obviously, swell of counterculture. It's kind of pushing back against that stuff. So it's kind of funny to see it come along so late, in the 80s. But it's timeless. I mean, we're back there again. So, right. It hasn't gone away. It's always been like this. As for as long as there's been corporations and mass media, it's just the way it is.
Right.
Because, that's what you got to do to like keep it going, to sell stuff. And then they keep it going to sell. You have to sell stuff in order to keep it going, and they got to keep it going in order to sell stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's like
but the problem is when too much money goes into too few hands, and then then you're subservient to the aliens.
What came first, Ross? The chicken or the egg?
I don't know who invented this whole money business, but I don't like it.
Or better still, what came first, the alien or the Earthlings? Yeah, I often wonder who started this whole mess. Why are we not just trading, bartering chickens? Why can't I give you a chicken for like system.
Yeah, and you bring me a pie or something. And the world would be a better place. But there'd be somebody somewhere hoarding all the pies, and you have to bring it. It's like you can have a pie now for 100 chickens. Yep.
An apple pie sounds really good right about now.
You're missing my point.
I got your point. I'm just being funny. I'm trying to be light, but I get your point.
Yeah, the country never healed after Watergate.
Yeah, the country was even fully healed,
and even before that. But Watergate was kind of like we thought it was the last straw. And now it's like the Garden of Eden. But anyway, it's just amazing how things have just gone downhill in the last 60 years. Yeah.
You said barter would result in Soylent Green 100%.
Yeah.
There's a movie that we discussed. That's been about 5 years. Shari's favorite movie.
My currency will be blue jeans, chocolate bars, and Soylent Green. Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah, we did talk about that. That's right. Sherry was with us when we talked.
She was. That was the first time she was on the show with us.
Right.
In fact, we did that. We discussed that show. It was in October. It was during Halloween month, I think, and it was. I'm going to say it was 2020, so it was 5 years ago already. If you can believe that. Wow, that's crazy. Now, here's the thing with Meg Foster's character. Obviously, there's this, and 37-year-old movie, so I'm going to be okay with giving spoilers away here. Oh, hey, James is out there. Hey, James.
Hey.
Good to see you out there. James is joining us from Australia. Welcome, James.
Mm.
And Shari's saying, I can't. I can't
can't
what?
believe it. I can't believe it,
Oh.
maybe.
Oh, I can't believe that was 5 years ago.
Believe, yes. Yeah.
Yep, it was 5 years ago.
I know. Did I didn't have my beard yet, did I, at that point? It's 2020, right?
You would have had your beard, yeah. Because that was your COVID beard.
Creepy.
Yeah, it was. There were things growing in it.
I miss that beard. It smelled like bread.
It smelled like bread. And Soylent Green was coming up on its. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Was it 5 years ago? I think it was 5 years ago we did that.
Probably.
But it was coming. It was going to be coming up on its 50th anniversary. And I think that film came out in what, 73? Soylent Green?
It was early 70s. I don't remember the exact date.
It's okay. That's my department, Ross. James said I keep missing the. That's okay, James. Thanks for joining us, and hope you're doing well. And we actually haven't been on for like about 5 weeks, so we're back. We're here.
I'm going to try to get back to doing it regularly again, I hope.
Thanks, George. 74. Yeah, I knew it was around there. 73, 74.
I don't know what's going on here. Try voice.
Oh.
Talking too much.
Nah.
Yeah.
It's all good. But anyway, I was going to say in regards to Meg Foster, it really, I was really, I'll say peeved when she took out Frank.
It was a surprise. But go ahead. What were we going to say?
Yeah, because essentially Roddy is trying to rescue her. He's looking for her. I mean, she works at the television station, and she's actually behind the transmission of the aliens. And you have to wonder, did she make some kind of deal with them, or is she, what is the relationship that she has? We don't know, which is fine.
Yeah.
But it adds to the plot, and we find out that we're thinking that he's rescuing her, but in essence, it's almost like she was a plant.
Right, and that's what I was saying earlier. Like, I think it was a little clumsy. They didn't really earn that kind of twist.
Yeah,
because we didn't really get to know her at all.
Right.
She had one scene where he abducts her, basically at the beginning, and then like later she turns up at the rebellion, the resistance thing where the police come in and bust it up, and we start to be concerned that she's going to get shot because everybody's getting shot all around her and everything. And then at the end of the thing, she turns up, and we've got that unearned twist. I think there needed to be more to it, but we criticize these movies all the time, and I got to thinking, it's how it is with these things are collaborative efforts that are made in the studio system, and you've got producers and you got studios, you got all kinds of hands in the pie. You got people you're working with, collaborating with, then you got the suits, and they all demand changes and cutting the budget, recutting the thing. They kick you by the time you're gone. Somebody else recuts the film sometimes.
Yep.
So I thought I was giving them the benefit of the doubt. I thought, well, maybe this is something that happened in post-production and it would have, been a little more filled in. But no, then I read he had it that he had complete control of this movie. So,
I can't even.
This was his vision. So, I mean, it did what it needed to do, but it could have, I think, been a little meteor, like not meteor, like like an asteroid crashing into the earth, but like have more meat to it.
Yeah.
Or at least not been as I mean, it was comic booky is what it was, but it's Carpenter. I mean, Big Trouble in Little China, Escape from New York, but it's even Escape from New York, I think, had more weight to it than it was more exploitation. You knew going into Escape from New York what you were getting. And I guess he kind of did with this one too, but it just seemed even more comic book.
Yeah.
Not as tongue in cheek as the Big Trouble in Little China. Although how can it not be with him with the bubblegum line?
Oh yeah. Bill even said, everything in this movie is not what it seems. That's the whole point of the movie. No,
Yeah,
it's true. It's very true.
yeah,
John was commenting back, and whoops, I lost it. He said, Soylent Green was one of my favorite Heston movies as a kid. I can no longer watch it now in the 20s. Too close to reality and foreboding of current events.
yeah. Isn't that funny? I mean, it's enough funny, haha. But again, that's what I was saying before about how our perceptions of movies change over time, and sometimes it's us, and sometimes it's just history or social circumstances. And yeah, I have a hard time just watching shoot 'em up movies anymore.
Yeah.
They're not fun to me.
Yeah.
And it's not even like I'm not making a statement by it. It just bothers me. You know what I mean? It's just like this is too much in here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know about out here. There's a lot of stuff too, but too much got in here, I think.
Yeah.
For me to just relax into something like that and have a good time with it.
Shari said, "Love Soylent Green."
Yeah.
That's where the shower scene started.
Absolutely. That was our first shower scene. The three of us.
And said, indeed, for some regions in the world, Soylent Green is next stage, keeping in mind that Soylent was, of course, unaware of what the pills actually were. Yeah, that's true. Very true. Yeah, so it's interesting how he's like a one-man army, though.
Yeah.
Of what Roddy does. And he gets fooled when it comes down to how Meg Foster's character is essentially with the other side and has him pinned, but then he has his ace up his sleeve, literally, where he pulls out the gun and he shoots her, and then he turns and goes for the climax.
Yeah. Yeah, they could have done like a Dirty Dozen film kind of film with this thing. It's the kind of thing I don't know. People haven't seen it. I guess I don't really want to ruin the whole thing, but it's furniture.
No, it's okay, Ross. Don't worry about
it. But anyway, the ending when he gives the finger or what have you.
He wasn't happy with that.
Well, he wasn't happy because it wasn't a good enough finger. I thought it was kind of even funnier the way it was.
He wanted to give it a little more life.
yeah, he wanted to really get it out there big. But
oh shoot!
It's kind of funny though.
I think he delivered.
What is it?
I said I think he delivered well.
Yeah, it's just amusing because it is so half-assed.
It really is.
Yeah.
Bill said, I thought the first shower scene was in MASH. Oh boy.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I started talking about the I don't know how we got sidetracked. Maybe it was the contacts and how they did the black and white, and then they got to the color and what have you. But once he does blow the generator or whatever, that transmission, and then suddenly everybody can see these aliens without the aid of the glasses. Then he gets a shot in at the critics where he makes fun of Gene Siskel, like talking about the sex and violence in John Carpenter movies.
Yes.
And George Romero movies. And of course he's one of them.
He's one of them.
And then talk about exploitation, the totally gratuitous nude scene at the very end of the movie. Totally unnecessary.
It's like, where did that come from?
Well,
when I was doing the screen captures, I was like, I better not put that up.
I might have just put that in there just because it was right after the Gene Siskel thing. Totally unnecessary. I'm sure it got the rating pushed up into the next thing.
But it was to make a point, though, because nobody knew that they were aliens. So yeah. I mean, yeah. It's almost like talking about V. You know what I mean? Where the first crossbreed is actually made Is it going to be human, or is it going to be reptilian, or is it going to be both?
Yeah, I still have to do the have to watch that. We have to talk about that at some point.
Yeah, and we can do the miniseries instead.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a whole. I mean, there was the miniseries, the first miniseries, and then what they did was they came back with a second,
Right.
which they should not have done. And then they decided to take it a step further. They decided to make it into a weekly series, which was the death of the show.
Hmm.
And then they actually brought it back just a few years ago. When I say a few years ago, it was probably like maybe 20 years ago, maybe 10 years ago, 10, 20 years ago.
So where do we rate this in the Carpenter oeuvre? Where do you like, where do you put it on the, with Halloween and The Thing and Starman and what other movie? Oh, Dark Star. We talked about Dark Star at some point recently.
Yeah, we just covered that not too long ago, a couple months ago. I would say it's not, with all the movies that you just mentioned, with the exception of Dark Star. It's below those films for me personally.
Yeah.
I enjoyed all those other movies more so than. It's not that I didn't enjoy this movie. It's just that I enjoyed those movies more.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say that I would give this movie like a 7. I would say a 7.5. What about you?
I don't think it's his worst movie. No. I don't think it's his best movie, but
yeah,
it was entertaining.
It was entertaining.
I was expecting a little more from it, just because I had seen the fight scene in advance. I guess maybe it ruined it. And then of course the big line, I came here to chew bubble gum and kick ass. Yeah, you got to hand it to Roddy Piper, though. He showed up with a notebook full of things like that I get, because as a wrestler, he was using that all the time in the arena there.
And he used that tagline in the arena
afterwards, right? But he had all these ideas, for things he could use. He had a little sketchbook of a little notebook, and Carpenter flipped through it and said, "Oh, it's great. Let's use this."
He was very creative. In fact, Carpenter indicated, I guess Roddy was showing him some of the wrestling maneuvers, and including the sleeper hold, and he said that he could claim that it actually worked.
Yeah.
John commented. He said, "Roy, would you consider a future sci-fi corner show of voice and heart music, Ski Party, Where Angels Go, The Ambushers, and On? Bobby Hart recently passed on." Sci-fi corner. Yeah, could probably do something like that, right, Ross?
Who are these guys?
I don't know.
It's not Rogers and Hart. I don't know who Boyce and Hart are, I'm afraid. Well, I mean, here it is, Ski Party, Where Angels Go, The Ambushers. I mean, I don't know what kind of music. We'd have to look into it. And besides, we couldn't play it, I know.
Yeah.
We could talk about it if it had something to do with sci-fi.
Right.
But I would have to familiarize myself with their work. I don't know who they are, I'm afraid.
Yeah, we'd have to look into it. So we thanks for putting that out there, John.
Yeah.
We will consider it. And it would be different. So there you go. Yeah. And it's sci-fi related. And sometimes we do one-offs too with where it's not sci-fi. We haven't we did that not too long ago. And that's fun too. And Bill just said it's like Ermy and
Arlie Ermy, yeah. Where he showed up and did his improv because he was an actual drill sergeant.
Full Metal Jacket. That was what, 1980? That was a long time ago.
Was it really that early? 80?
I think it was. I remember that being on the back cover of a Starlog magazine for an advertisement, and I think it was around 80.
I was a mature 14-year-old or whatever then, because I did see that in the theater. I thought it was a little later than that, but maybe you're right. 1987.
Oh man, I'm slipping.
Yeah,
I'm slipping. I thought it was 80. Wow.
Yeah.
My bad. I was off.
I know, you're usually not. So it scared me.
Wow. I am slipping. You know what? I'm rusty, Ross.
You're a pod, Roy.
But I am not rusty about this in regards to talking about Starlog magazine. Back in the day, Starlog was our connection, and loved Starlog, especially the earlier issues. and that was pre-internet. And if you were looking up this movie, Starlog number 136, interview with John Carpenter. So we always like to give a nod to Starlog. But
so that is the movie and not the TV series that did that Alienation, right?
Yeah, that's the television series for Alienation.
Oh, that was the television series. Yeah. I remember seeing the movie with James Caan.
Star Trek: The Lost Generation, the TV series that didn't happen. Oh boy, man, that was what was it? Star Trek. Oh my goodness! Instead of Star Trek: The Motion Picture, it was New Voyages, right?
You're asking me? I see Lost Generation. I'm thinking about Hemingway and Fitzgerald.
FMJ was not sci-fi. You got a
mulligan
on that one. Oh well, there you go.
Yeah,
slipping. And Ross, in regards to composers,
yeah. Well, of course, John Carpenter, does all of his own music, but he was working here with Alan Howarth. I'm gonna have to plug this in. I'm afraid that my computer's gonna die on me. I forgot to plug it in.
Yes, Star Trek Phase 2. Exactly, James. I'm saying New Voyages because I'm thinking of New Voyages, but yeah, Star Trek Phase 2.
Will I get it in time?
Sure, Ross, you got this.
There we go. It's happened before, folks. But anyway, it's Alan Howarth. I looked him up, and he did collaborate with Carpenter. I think 7 times he worked on.
Yeah, I read that.
Yeah, so he was born in Cleveland and played in rock bands, and apparently so well that they were opening acts for some pretty big bands. They played before the Who and Cream. They opened for Cream, and he made his way to Los Angeles because he was also writing synthesizer accompaniments for Weather Report, the jazz fusion group. And while he was out there, that's when he got into films. And, he really distinguished himself as a sound design fella, like a sound effects guy or a guy who did sound design for movies. And he worked on a lot of the movies that you and I love that we talk about all the time. He worked on a lot of the Star Trek films, apparently, with the original series, the original cast movies.
Yeah.
The Back to the Future sequels, Raiders of the Lost Ark. All of these things were big movies, and a lot of them won awards for his work. Little Mermaid, Total Recall. His team won for best sound effects for Hunt for Red October and for Bram Stoker's Dracula, the Francis Ford Coppola version. It's funny, just this week, I watched for the first time. I know we've talked about this movie before, The Final Countdown, which I'd never seen, with Kirk Douglas and Martin Sheen, where they go back on the Nimitz to Pearl Harbor, go back in time. And he actually worked on that. As a special sound effects guy, and allegedly also something to do with composing, although John Scott did the score. So I don't know if he helped as filling in some of the scenes that weren't done by John Scott, or just as an orchestrator, or what he did. But and he did a lot with sound technology, innovation, things that I don't know necessarily. I'm a music guy. I'm not really a tech guy, but he did a lot to innovate as far as how they do certain things with manipulating sound and electronics in the movies. I thought it interesting in the film because just from the music, it's very bluesy. I mean, it's obviously electronic, but there's a lot of stuff going on in the movie where there's this like a blues riff that they keep playing over and over. And I said, where's this movie going to be set? Is this like New Orleans? Is this Mississippi? No, it's LA. So, but they had that repetition all the time of this blues riff. In fact, it started getting on my nerves after a while because they would just do the same thing over and over again. But Carpenter always likes to do that in his movies to generate tension. But so this is who this guy is, this Alan Howarth. Didn't know about him. This is new to me. His big break supposedly came for a trailer for one of the Star Trek films.
Oh.
Supposedly in 1980, but there was no Star Trek film in 1980.
The only Star Trek film would have been Star Trek the Motion Picture, because it came out literally at the end of it was 79. In December of 79, but it did play into 80. So that, and I've actually seen, believe it or not, where like it's been dated as 1980, but yeah, so that could be what they're referring to.
Yeah, and I wonder what he did on the actual film too, because he worked on not just on the trailer but on the film, because Jerry Goldsmith wrote the score, and I know there were other composers in there helping out, like Alexander Courage and some of the other guys that were involved with the original series stepped in just to do some short cues. So I'm not sure what this guy may have done, but I'd be interested to know if anybody does.
It says he was a sound effects creator on Star Trek the Motion Picture.
Okay.
So,
all right. Well, there you go.
Yeah.
So that's where he earned his awards, was in the sound effects rather than the music. But he and Carpenter collaborated a lot. Well, Carpenter, he did his own stuff for, as I said, all of his movies. But he is friends with Nick Castle, the guy who played Mike Myers. Yeah. And who's the other guy? There's three of them. And they've got a band.
They got a band.
They still kind of
awesome.
I mean, I don't know if they've done it in the last couple of years, but not too long ago they went out and did some concerts together again, where it's
really cool.
Yeah, just electronics and some guitars, electric guitars.
Yeah,
but yeah, who's it? Nick Castle. Maybe it's Tommy Lee Jones or something. I can't remember. Not Tommy Lee Jones. Tommy Wallace. Tommy Lee Wallace. Tommy Lee Jones is the actor. Tommy Lee Wallace is the guy who directed Season of the Witch, the Halloween 3.
Yep.
But he's done other things for Carpenter.
As you know, I was not a fan of that movie.
I know, neither was I, but he's part of the Carpenter family. And hopefully I didn't get that wrong. I'm relying strictly on memory, and it's not what it used to be.
No, and I slipped a few times tonight myself on a couple of things. So, like I said, I'm a little rusty. So,
yeah, I have to say though, I'm better than I was in the early episodes. Sometimes I would throw out stuff that was completely off. I'd go and look it up afterwards and say, "Oh
well." Ross is playing the Hollywood Squares. Ross for the bluff.
I've gotten a lot better because now I forget everything.
Yoko said, "Did you two already discuss the epic brawl scene?" Yes, we did.
We did. Yes.
Yeah, it was pretty amazing. John said, "Your show digs into something long obscure films which were favorites in the days of the 1970s, late night TV before most of us had cable. The Giant, Behemoth, and 5 Million Years to Earth come to mind." I don't think
we haven't done those, but those would be with speed.
That would be fun.
Yeah.
I want to say hi to Lou. Lou is joining us. Lou, great to see you out there. And,
hope you're doing better, Lou.
Yeah, we're really hoping you're feeling good. And I know you've been through a lot with everything. And thanks for joining us. And positive thoughts and vibes your way. And let me see. Oh, and also before I put it up, Don had said I caught him playing at the Colonial a while back. It was a lot of fun.
Is that John Carpenter?
No, I think Alan Howorth.
Oh, okay.
Which is kind of cool. But yeah, we did talk about Carpenter as far as directors and everything. So yeah, I mean, this was a fun movie to talk about. And again, I really want to thank Randy Lee for the bubble gum. that was cool.
Yep. He was afraid of your rage, Roy. He thought you'd be out of bubble gum. Yeah, I mean, it's a great line, but the scene doesn't make any sense. Like I said, he starts just randomly shooting aliens.
Yeah, he was a little all over the place.
Before he figured out, you got to go for the big ray. You had to go for the transmission in order to take him down.
Yeah, this is true.
Yeah.
This is very true.
Yeah. And it was interesting when he was in the store. Did you notice the one rack of books next to him? It had an Edgar Case book. Remember the Edgar Case? They always had him at checkouts. You know, he's the ESP guy.
I did not notice that.
Yeah, I wonder if that was. I mean, they would have had it just for realism, I guess, but it would fit in with the whole extraterrestrial, you know, ESP conspiracy kind of stuff. That was a theme of the film, even though it was all metaphorical.
Yeah,
It's all corporate. Our corporate overlords.
they definitely had that going on for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So, overall, you enjoyed it?
Yeah, overall, I enjoyed it. I didn't think it was a world beater, but you know, it was entertaining. I wanted it to be a little more than it was.
Yeah. Well, it's
know.
interesting because that's what I recall from when I saw it the first time back like 37 years ago. Because I only saw it once and I never really rewatched it.
Mm-hmm.
And when we talked about doing it, it was always in the back of my mind. But it was almost like, yeah, it was a good film. But you know what I mean? It was enjoyable, but there was something, as you indicated, there was something. It needed a little bit more oomph. It was missing something.
No, I'm glad we did it though, because I had wanted to see it. So
yeah, so it definitely worked out.
Finally. Yeah.
But let's see.
We didn't talk about the little the watches that they were able to transport with and communicate with.
Yeah. Bill said bubblegum. I hope you have enough to share. Yeah, actually I do.
Yes, plenty. Everybody gets some.
Compliments of Randy Lee.
There you go.
Thank you, Randy, again.
What are you going to do with that stuff?
I don't know. I'm going to share. Also, I'm going to start to wind down, and I'm going to go to the shout outs. But I wanted to give a big happy birthday to Rachel Hassenhauser Thrower. Today is her birthday, and it's her big birthday. It's her 40th birthday. So want to wish her a very happy birthday and hope she's having a great day. And I know Edwin is celebrating with a lot of friends, and it would have been nice to have been able to to have gone. And they're actually in Connecticut, but it was not going to be possible. So on behalf of us, I want to wish Rachel a very, very happy birthday. So definitely everybody chime in and say happy birthday.
Should we sing?
You do not want to hear me sing, and that would be detrimental not only to the show, but it would be detrimental to Rachel's birthday. I don't want to do that.
I wonder if we would violate the copyright. If they yank us off of Facebook for singing "Happy Birthday."
Yeah, for the decimation of the "Happy Birthday" song, that would be the violation, at least from coming from my vocal cords.
Who owns it? How can that even be in copyright? Who owns it? Doesn't Paul McCartney or somebody own it now?
I'm not even.
It's just sure. Like some urban legend. Maybe it's about because I could swear it was too old to be in copyright anyway, but people were getting in trouble for it. That's why they couldn't sing it at where was it, Chili's, or where could they not sing it? And they have their own song, like the birthday song, and they come out clapping.
I don't know. That's a good point, and I recall that, but I don't remember.
Yeah, probably making stuff up, patching it together from all kinds of. I'm starting my own conspiracy theory. Before there was an internet, I was the conspiracy theory.
That was you?
Yeah, I started all of them. Not really.
Bill's saying it's public domain now.
Yay! Let's sing it.
There you go. Nah, I don't want to hurt anybody's. I'm going to take the safe word. It was our friend. Actually, two belated birthdays that I can say for the show, though. It was Vinny Foti, Vince. It was his birthday on the 20th of September, which was last Saturday. So happy birthday, Vince.
Happy birthday, Vince.
Or Vinny, if you want to call him Vinny. And then it was Bill Scarato's birthday, our other friend, on the 21st. It was on Sunday. And I did sing with Shari to Bill. And actually, I started to lead. And then Shari looked at me and said, "What are you doing?" Anyway, there you go.
Auditioning.
Yeah, there you go. So going to the shout outs, as we like to do on this show, bringing you creative awareness through our shout outs. So with that said, our friends Mike and Mary Beth of Sci-Fi Distilled are on Wednesday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, and they will be discussing the classic 1989 film Ghostbusters 2. As I was saying earlier, we are actually heading into Halloween month, and which means, too, you have to mark your calendars. We haven't figured out what date we're going to be doing yet, but usually Mike and Mary Beth will do a crossover with us, or we'll do a crossover with them to celebrate Halloween. So, incidentally, Halloween is actually on a Friday night, the 31st, which we will not be doing a show. So I suspect we will either be on Mike and Mary Beth's show on the 29th, which is a Wednesday, or we will have them on our show the Friday before, which would be the 24th. But anyway, with that said, tune into Mike and Mary Beth, 7 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, Ghostbusters 2. That's this coming Wednesday. And we were talking about Country Gate and Bill Scarato. I want to give a shout out to Country Gate players. If you are in the Belvedere, New Jersey area, definitely check out Country Gate players. Their website is www.countrygate.org, and they are doing Frankenstein. Not Frankenstein, but Frankenstein. Mm-hmm. And the dates are it's 2 weekends, starting with the weekend of October 25th, and it's ending on the weekend of November 2nd. So definitely check out the website. And then also Bill has a website as well in which he keeps everybody apprised of what he's got going on. And you can go to www.billscarato.com for that. And also, just want to give a shout out to our friend Jeffrey Morris. And the Eagle Obsession is complete. It's actually being showcased at film festivals, and it was actually being shown at the Space 1999 convention in LA 2 weeks ago. So for information about the film, you can go to www.eagledocumentary.com. Check it out. And speaking of another friend, Captain Phil from Captain Phil's Planet is on WUSB 90.1 FM, Stony Brook, New York. The captain's schedule is Thursdays from 4 to 5 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, and he is also on Fridays, like coming up now at 9 o'clock to 11:30 p.m. So definitely check out the captain. I want to give a final shout out to Martha. Martha is I have my old grade school friend John Risco. Martha is John's girlfriend, and Martha opened up a store and has had the store for the last couple of years, which is Studio One Thrift. Amazing store that she had with really cool clothes that were very affordable. And she was doing styling, updates, and just really helping folks out. Studio One Thrift is closing, and their final day will be tomorrow, which is going to be the 27th. So if you are in the Strasbourg area, you definitely check it out. The hours are 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. And definitely going to miss Studio One Thrift. But Martha's going to be doing other stuff, and just want to give a final shout out to Martha for Studio One Thrift. And also I have to give a plug to my son, Ryan, Run by Ryan, Empower Your Run. Check out his website. There is no cost associated with registering. There are different levels to it. And the website is www.runbyryan.com. And Ross, if you can let everybody know what you've got going on.
All right. Well, these are my 3 recorded shows that air at KWAX, now at the University of Oregon. Picture Perfect's the film music show. We've got about 10 minutes left on that. This week I did an hour of elegiac westerns. So at this point, Monty Walsh, the music for that, is playing with John Barry's film score. Sweetness and Lights, the light music show. That's tomorrow morning at 11 o'clock Eastern. And The Lost Chords, Unusual and Neglected Repertoire. Unusual and Neglected Classical Music. And that airs Saturdays at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Obviously, if you're out on the West Coast, it's 3 hours earlier, 4 o'clock. Anyway, rather than explain what everything is, I can have people check my Facebook page tomorrow at Classic Ross Amico. I post the same day the shows air, and the concepts are a little complex to explain. To boil down, sometimes I can do it in a sentence, but it's going to be too much tonight to explain what the Lost Chord is. So, but I appreciate your interest. If you want to go over and join Classic Ross Amico or follow my posts, it'll be up there on Facebook. Thanks, Roy.
Thanks, Ross.
Yeah.
And to let everybody know, Ross and I are planning on being back next Friday, which will be October 3rd. And we will be discussing the classic 1958 film, The Fly.
Oh, look at that. I forgot James Clavell. Yeah. The guy who wrote Shogun later.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're going to be kicking off Halloween month with The Fly.
Here we go.
And there we go.
So let's get the buzz going.
Yeah, exactly.
No.
And yeah, so pretty much we are wrapping up. Hope you enjoyed the show, everyone. Any last words, Ross?
Good night. Yeah, it was good to do this again. We've got to. I got to get my stamina up again. I think we haven't done it in a few weeks, and I don't know.
Yeah.
Usually they turn out better than I expect if I go back and watch them.
No, it was a lot of fun doing this.
Good.
So no, it was great to be back. And
I hope it was entertaining for people.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. John is commenting. He's saying, let me just put it up on the screen here. If you are from the urban New York, New Jersey area that was ground zero in the early 70s for late night independent sci-fi movies, too far out for Southern Ontario TV antennas to pick up. Ripoff. I don't know. But let me see. And Bill said, live long and prosper.
We did have a lot of interesting, movies on television coming out of New York in the 70s, I know.
Yeah. And last comment too, coming from, based on my personal interpretation of the film, I get a scene is mirroring the difficulty to convince someone who is locked into cognitive dissonance.
Yep. Yeah, and we're all complicit.
Yeah,
we're all complicit because it's interesting because remember his supervisor turns up later.
Yes,
and he's one of them. And he says, "Look, you can't tell me that if you can get we all deserve a piece of the pie, or we just want our fair share, or whatever it is. Everybody has their price, and they all sell out to the aliens.
Yeah,
once they make it. Yeah."
Very thought provoking, I would say. Very thought provoking.
On a surfacey kind of level.
Yeah.
It's deep on a surfacey level. Yeah.
Let's see. John saying your show, Roy, is gaining popularity because you pay attention to your active chat. Maybe Ross should do the same. Good night, gents.
If I look at the chat, I won't be able to concentrate on what anybody's saying. That's the problem.
No, it's all good. But
I kind of rely on Roy to bat it up here.
That's kind of
I
our.
could start doing that, but it would just totally change the.
Yeah, we have our flow. But thanks. No, we appreciate the commentary, John, and we appreciate the positive vibes too.
Maybe I'll try it. Maybe I'll try it. I always forget to reduce the screen though. I kind of prefer to just see.
And what Ross is really good at doing too is Ross a lot of times will go back and comment after, you know.
Oh, one-on-one. Yeah. I don't know if I'll do it this time.
Yeah, but you're pretty good with that.
Well, I've got a lot to do this weekend. You know, often I'll go back and I'll watch and I'll respond to everybody's comments.
Yeah.
We'll see.
It's funny, back in the day when we first started doing the show, because we've been doing the show for like 5.5 years.
Yeah.
I used to do that, and it's crazy. But yeah, and we're going to be hitting 5.5 years October 3rd. So it's kind of exciting. So yeah.
I gave you my best years, Roy.
What are you saying, Ross? It's all downhill from there?
Maybe so. Maybe so.
We got the big one coming up next year, Ross. Next year's the big one. So I'm just happy to be hoping and being happy to potentially celebrating it. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed.
Oh, I thought you were talking about some kind of anniversary with the show. You're talking about.
I'm talking about our birth date.
Yeah.
So anyway. All right, folks. Oh, and you know what? Space 1999 just celebrated its 50th anniversary broadcast on WPIX Channel 11. That was on Sunday. In fact, we did a show dedicated to that, and that was on the 21st of September. Interesting enough, year 2 of Space 1999 debuted on this date 49 years ago on Channel 11. It was the 26th of September. But we'll save the 50th for that next year, because I know how big of a fan Space 1999 fan Ross is. Maybe not so much with year 1, but I think Ross is more of a year 2 guy. If nothing else, I made Ross laugh, so I achieved my purpose. Anyway, live long and prosper, folks. Have a wonderful week. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.
Have a good weekend. Thank you.
Thanks.